Patrick Hicks Music Stories presents Every Grammys Ever, the 59th annual Grammys, February 12th, 2017. Alright, we've seen Taylor Swift versus Beyonce. Tonight is the sequel, Adele versus Beyonce. Beyonce has the most nominations tonight with 9, but Adele has the most wins with 5. We also see Drake, Rihanna, and Kanye West getting 8 nominations, and a newcomer to the Grammys getting 7 nominations tonight, Chance the Rapper. Chance wins Best New Artist, beating out Maren Morris, The Chainsmokers, and Anderson .Paak. He also wins Best Rap Performance for No Problem, and Best Rap Album for Coloring Book, beating out Drake's Views and Kanye's The Life of Pablo. Out of Kanye's 8 nominations, he actually doesn't get any wins tonight. Drake does get a couple. His song Hotline Bling wins Best Rap Song and Best Rap/Sung Performance. And his song Work, featuring Rihanna, does actually get nominated for Record of the Year. But it loses. So does 21 Pilots' Stressed Out, Lucas Graham's 7 Years, and Beyonce's Formation. The winner for Record of the Year is Adele's Hello. Hello also wins Song of the Year, beating out Beyonce's Formation, Lucas Graham's 7 Years, Love Yourself by Justin Bieber, and I Took a Pill in Ibiza by Mike Posner. Hello also wins Best Pop Solo Performance, beating out Beyonce's Hold Up, and her album 25 wins Best Pop Vocal Album. Beyonce is nominated in a bunch of different genres, not only that pop category, but also Best Rock Performance for her song Don't Hurt Yourself featuring Jack White, Best Urban Contemporary Album for her album Lemonade, which she does win, Best Rap/Sung Performance for Freedom with Kendrick Lamar, Best Music Video for Formation, which she also wins, and Best Music Film for Lemonade, which she loses. Now here are the nominees for Album of the Year. You've got Drake's Views, Justin Bieber's Purpose, country singer Sturgill Simpson for A Sailor's Guide to Earth, then Beyonce's Lemonade, and Adele's 25. But before we get to the winner, let's talk about some albums from 2016 that were not nominated. So David Bowie, who to my mind I think is the most disrespected artist in the entire history of the Grammys, had passed away in January of 2016. But 2 days before his death, he left us with one more brilliant album, Black Star. And the Grammys give it 4 nominations and 4 wins. It wins everything it's nominated for, but all in the side categories. Best Engineered Album, Best Alternative Music Album, Best Rock Song, and Best Rock Performance for the song Black Star. Before this, David Bowie only had 1 Grammy win, so this does bring up his win total to 5 out of 19 nominations. He's one of the most important, most influential musicians of all time. If you just looked at the artists that won Grammys who were directly influenced by David Bowie, they would have 100 times more Grammys than the man himself does. And no Album of the Year nomination for his final album. Just a disgrace. Okay, we've also got Kanye West's The Life of Pablo, not nominated for Album of the Year, even though later, lesser Kanye albums will be. You've also got Danny Brown's Atrocity Exhibition. You've got Hopelessness, the debut solo album from Anoni and the Johnsons. Anoni has never been nominated for a Grammy, either as a solo artist or with Anoni and the Johnsons. Although weirdly enough, she was nominated for an Oscar this year, although she boycotted the ceremony. And then finally, one of the best albums of the year that wasn't nominated for anything is Frank Ocean's Blonde. Although in this case, it wasn't because the Recording Academy snubbed it, it was because Frank Ocean snubbed the Recording Academy. He refused to submit Blonde for consideration, and that's the way the Grammys work. You have to submit your work for them to evaluate, which I've said before I think is stupid. If this is an award show about rewarding the best music, you should go out and find the best music. And it seems like Frank Ocean agrees because in an interview with the New York Times, he said, "I think the infrastructure of the awarding system and the nomination system and screening system is dated." He said, "That institution certainly has nostalgic importance. It just doesn't seem to be representing very well for people who come from where I come from and hold down what I hold down." He specifically pointed to the fact that since he was born, very few black artists have won Album of the Year. Then to make things worse, the Grammys producer Ken Ehrlich, who had been the producer since the early 80s, and the writer David Wild, who worked for Rolling Stone and was also a writer on the Grammys, they told Rolling Stone that Frank Ocean was inflexible to work with when he had performed in 2013. They basically said that Frank's idea for what he was going to perform on the show wouldn't make good TV, and they fought with him about it. I actually read Ken Ehrlich's autobiography as research for this series, and this guy's ego is off the charts. He has similar stories about fighting with Madonna and basically never wanted to give artists creative control about what they did at the Grammys. After this, he would fight with Ariana Grande about the same thing. And his ego and unwillingness to let artists do what they want to do are probably the reason that the Grammys don't have a ton of memorable performance moments over the years. Let Madonna be Madonna. Let artists cook. So after Ehrlich and David Wild said this, Frank Ocean clapped back. He said, "As much as I hate to make you guys famous or even respond to you directly, we all die one day and you're old, so fuck it." He said, "You know what's really not great TV, guys? 1989 getting Album of the Year over To Pimp a Butterfly." He said, "If you're up for a discussion about the cultural bias and general nerve damage the show you produce suffers from, then I'm all for it." And as if to prove his point, let's see what wins Album of the Year. The Grammy goes to Adele's 25. Now this is a great album, and in a vacuum, I think either 25 or Beyoncé's Lemonade would be a good Album of the Year winner. But we're not in a vacuum, we're at almost 60 years of Grammy history here, and again, this is the choice that the Grammys always make. These albums are so different it's hard to even compare them. It's like the meals of two master chefs. Adele's food is simple and clean and just has a couple of ingredients, but it's executed flawlessly. Whereas Beyoncé's food is like something you've never tasted before. It's new and exciting and different. It's bringing in all sorts of other chefs to collaborate. It's interpolating. It's crossing genres. Lemonade is just an amazing achievement. Adele even acknowledged Beyoncé in her acceptance speech.
But I can't possibly accept this award, and I'm very humbled and I'm very grateful and gracious, but my artist of my life is Beyoncé, and this album for me, the Lemonade album, was just so monumental. Beyoncé, it was so monumental.
But of course, it doesn't win Album of the Year. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time for the 60th Annual Grammys in 2018.